Welcome, everyone. I'm here with Colleen Bielitz. She is our newly appointed co-chair for our VRARA Education Committee. Hi, Colleen.
Hi, how are you today, Chris? Good to be here.
Thanks for your time today. So you're part of the Southern Connecticut State University, and you joined our VRAR Association a while back. Can you tell us more, what brought you into like VRAR space in the first place? Let's start with that.
Sure. Well, I'm a bit of a futurist and tech evangelist, and I always have been. I've been a founder of science and tech incubators in Connecticut and in Massachusetts, but originally I'm from Pennsylvania. And back in 2006, I was the executive director of a virtual charter school. And we had over 4,000 students K through 12. And I saw where online learning was going and then the magic of it and how well students could do in that type of an environment. So I've tried to always be at the forefront of tech education. At my last institution, I did a lot with augmented reality. I loved using iPads. And now that things have progressed, I've used like the HoloLens and VR. I could say pretty much saved me during COVID because I'm very social. So I like to be like with people. And I had a friend down in Florida, Steve Lewis, and we would meet in alt space. And I just felt like it was just this magical experience because although he was in Florida and I was in Connecticut, we were, hours away from each other. It felt like we were there in that same room and that beauty, of presence that you get when you're in these types of environments where you can feel connected to people. It was a wonderful experience. And I got to meet people from all over the world that I wouldn't have had the chance if we hadn't had the pandemic. So it's kind of been a blessing and a curse, but it's opened up new worlds for me. And so since 2019, when I got my first Quest headset, which is now Meta, I feel like it just, I wanted to be more in this world and take that education piece and, bring that to the forefront.
You mentioned COVID. I think, everybody knows it accelerated virtual technologies, not only Zoom, but VR.
Yep.
I don't think people still the people that are skeptics of VR, they haven't put the headset on to feel that presence that you mentioned, because it really feels like you're in the same space with that person, and it just triggers emotions in your brain, feeling of closeness. Yeah, so that's the power of VR. I see that you're involved, with many other things. Such as the United Nations SDG. You're kind of following their guidelines. Can you talk more about that? And also you're involved with the President Leadership Council. Specifically, can you tell us about where are they with the VR/AR spectrum?
Yeah, so my driving force, wherever I've been, it's been the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, because they provide that roadmap for progress that it's sustainable and it leaves no one behind. And I feel that's where we should all be, moving towards. If anything, COVID also taught us that there was a lot of like disparities, and it kind of exacerbated some of them. So I always feel like whatever I can do to help progress those SDGs, it's extremely important. So I've been involved in projects. I launched the first Massachusetts Digital Games Institute up in Massachusetts, the first Unis Social Business Center. Right now, I've launched Project Blue at Southern Connecticut State University, which pursues opportunities and knowledge for value creation in the blue economy. So how can we sustainably use our oceans, which feed over 1 billion people a day, yet, keep them clean, keep them going, protect what's there. I feel like I do it just not only because that's called Life Below Water, but Life on Land is another one. So when my latest project at the university is called IMXR. And basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the researchers to see the benefits of XR technology and to be at the forefront of education while researching best practices and those broader societal impacts. So when we take a look at what XR can do, or any of the technologies, it immerses you in worlds that you've never been in before. So you can get an understanding of what it's like to be homeless, or people that are hungry or have different disabilities. So through our health and human services, I'm having our researchers in communication disorders, and I was even looking at research about nurses, because if you think about, like, nurses have suffered extreme burnout because of COVID and constantly being in this stressful environment. And now they're using VR headsets to, when they're on break, to, you can be immersed and feel like you're on a beach, and suddenly you're in this relaxing environment. So what I'm trying to do is give, I feel that XR technologies can give people that deeper understanding, of each other, and to experience different worlds and put people in different spaces. And so that's what I'm trying to drive at the university. And I the co-chair also for the XR community for EDUCAUSE, and my colleague Randy Rode is at Yale, and they're literally like in our backyard. So it's made it nice that we've been able to collaborate on a number of things as well.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of things that just brought things to my mind. Helium is our member, for example, and they did research with, researchers proving that VR helps with like Ph.D. and stress. And another member, the World Bank, I don't know if you know Jimmy, but they used VR to put the headset on the policymakers to make them feel like a homeless, or make them feel like they just survived a flood or earthquake. And it helps with kind of the present again and the emotions, but it's for policymakers. So it's just amazing how you and others are using the technology.
Yeah. It does. It makes you feel that like, when you're there in it, what is it like to be a refugee and in the tent with the family, and to see these are the conditions, and then to think, what if it was me? Because it could easily happen to any of us if we think about it, especially with climate change and the, way weather is. And I mean, a tornado can come, through anywhere, or a hurricane, and then suddenly you're displaced. What does that feel like? So it helps us with empathy for others, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's the only technology up to this time that helps with that. And it's about the storytelling and helping people make decisions. Okay, let's talk about our the weekly online meets that we have for like education and other verticals. What do you think of our education online meets with Carlos?
Yeah, well, I think they're fantastic. And I love being connected to others around the world and seeing how they're using the technology, because then I feel like it gives you other ideas, like, oh, I never thought to actually connect in that way, or to use this technology to, view this or research that. So I love it, because I just, I'm like a sponge. So I like to absorb it and, hear everything that can be done. And so with Carlos, it's been great. And he's been, very a steadfast guide. I have to say, he, also touches into that empathy part. So I think that's particularly important. And like you had mentioned, storytelling, which I think is going to be, one of the things that it doesn't matter if you're a business, if you're an educator, if you're creating a social platform, that whole storytelling is going to be extremely important as the metaverse is kind of being built out.
Yeah. About the storytelling part, I remember in our global summit, we had people meet from, that's what the association is about, people meeting from different verticals, the cross-pollination. And we had someone from storytelling, like, film, meet with someone from the mining industry. And they got hired for the mining industry project to help with the storytelling. So, it's interesting. Great. Yeah, I love the online meets. I always, I attend as many of them. I always learn something. Great speakers, great presentations, but the dialogue and the networking is, I think, what's extremely valuable to our members. Yeah. In addition to the online meets, we also have the forum coming up, the education forum, which is going to be virtual. Would love to have you, moderate a panel. It seems like you have contacts at your fingertips that would be able to participate and present with you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's coming up, and we'll let everybody know more information on that. Thank you so much, Colleen. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you having me, join you. I love the VRARA, and everything that's being done. It's just, you're at the forefront, and it's a whole new world, and I'm just glad to be part of the organization.
Thank you so much.